Alright. Press that. Excuse me, Emir. Ah, don't sweat it, Bluey. Mr. Hey you, it's all the same to me. You stated that you heard your name being called from behind. Are you absolutely sure about that? Well, right or wrong, it sure sounded like my name. I mean, what else could it have been? I wouldn't have remembered it happening if it heard something right. If I hadn't heard something right. Still. Maybe there's a chance I just imagined it, huh? Maybe I remember it came from somewhere behind me. From somewhere behind you? Is something the matter, Mr. Wright? If his memory isn't the most accurate, but what he says is true, then there's definitely something there. Something you say? Might you mean a contradiction? Yes, I think so. Although, I don't know, there's just something strange about his testimony. I don't see any decisive evidence in the court record that can help. Do you mean to say you found a contradiction that cannot be supported by the evidence?
Objection!
My lord, this line of interrogation is a complete waste of the court's time. Defender, I must warn you from here on, any unnecessary questioning will be dealt with accordingly. What? If I don't answer correctly here, it's curtains for the trial and for a speller. If you're intent on finding a fault in this witness's testimony, you will need to present decisive evidence to back up your claims. I'm going to save before this. Okay. There's not one single piece of decisive evidence in the court record. What do I do now? Mr. Wright? Mr. Layton? I have an idea. I believe there's a weapon of sorts with which you may be able to expose the contradiction without the need of evidence. A weapon? Now, defender, give us your answer. Yes, Your Honor? The defense finds that the witness's testimony... What do you say? He said behind him. Behind him was the girl. On this map, yes. Look. So, I'm gonna say contains no problems at all. Because it was the girl who called him. That's what I think it was. I hate to say it, but I can't spell his life on this one. What? No further questions? I don't want to do that. Now he's disappointing. Wait a minute. That voice. Mr. Wright, please, you can't give up. Miss Bella? My fate is in your hands. I'm counting on you, Professor and Professor Layton. That's why I need you to go on. Please don't give up on me. I can't give up. I have to keep going. Your Honor, the defense believes there's a huge contradiction in the witness's testimony. What the hell?
Objection!
What is this? You must be an even bigger fool than I thought, Sir Blue Knight. You really do not possess even a sliver of common sense, do you?
Objection!
If I may interrupt for just a moment, Inquisitor Barnum. Allow me to ask you this. What need is there for common sense in a world that forgoes using it? Accordingly, I must humbly ask that you discard such a manner of thinking. Whatever do you mean? You have my utmost thanks for placing your trust in me, Mr. Wright. Let us discuss the one remaining weapon in this cross-examination. Remaining weapon? This trial has taught us a valuable new technique to be used in the courtroom, has it not? You mean questioning, Roy, Professor? Indeed it is, Luke. Each of the witnesses of this trial has given their own account of what occurred. Therefore, whenever one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. That gives me an idea. In addition to catching a witness off guard and questioning them about another's testimony, there's one more thing. There's something else we can get from a 5-person cross-examination? That's right, of course. Indeed, Mr. Wright, contradictions. Should one witness's testimony differ from another's testimony, then I suppose that in itself can also be considered a contradiction, can it not? Testimony contradicting testimony, I never would have thought of that until now. Enough, Sir Blue Knight. Are you prepared to present to the court evidence proving the contradiction within this witness's testimony? The witness's testimony does not contradict any evidence. That's what I said. It contradicts a testimony. What are you on about? It is time, Mr. Wright. Have a look at the touchscreen. Here you will see the testimony of the witness in question, as well as those of the other witnesses. Keep your eyes peeled and identify the contradicting testimony. Alright, let's give this another shot, Nick. And make sure you don't forget to take a look at the court record, too. Alright.
Objection!
Whoa! A double objection! The person contradicting this man's testimony is none other than you, Miss Kira. Are you both pointing at me? At the time of the incident, that man heard someone's voice call his name. That voice belonged to you, Miss Kira. It could not have been anyone else. And yet, in your testimony, you stated you were in such shock during tonight's events that you couldn't even speak. This is a clear contradiction.
Objection!
What? What is the meaning of this, defender? Do you really claim to trust this sham of a witness and his sham of a testimony?
Objection!
That man's character is besides the point. His testimony is anything but a sham. As we watched the flames erupt, his attention was drawn to a voice behind him, which in turn made him fall over. He heard a woman's voice calling his name, a very concrete reason, and reason enough to believe his testimony.
Objection!
If it is as you say, then explain why you feel that this witness is somehow responsible. That's right, why me? People barely hear me when I'm out selling my flowers. It's how soft my voice is. And besides, there was another woman at the scene, wasn't there? Me? What are you getting at, young lady? Do you honestly think a woman my age would be out late at night in the forest flirting with questionable men? Besides, I didn't even know this pathetic man's name. How could I have called out to him? Neither did I. And even if I did know his name, do you really think he's the kind of guy any self-respecting girl would want? Oh, come on, ladies. I'm standing right here, you know. As I was saying, the only person that could have heard from behind you was Miss Kira.